Hi, I'm Brian. Welcome back to another On the Road video brought to you by ApplianceVideo.com. Stop! Before beginning any repair, always be sure to disconnect the power to the appliance. It is also recommended to test the outlet for proper voltage. Remember to also turn off the water. Okay, today we're looking at a Samsung front load washer, and the complaint is we're getting a ND error code on the display, which is for no drain, and there's water in the tub, water's not draining out. Also, we get a water leak somewhere inside the unit. The tools needed for this repair are a Phillips screwdriver, a flat blade screwdriver, and a multimeter. What we're going to do is check incoming voltage to our drain pump when the control board's setting the voltage down when the drain pump is supposed to be running. So with the unit unplugged, we're going to go ahead and remove our electrical harness here to the drain pump. We're going to insert our meter leads. All right, and on a voltage setting on our multimeter, we're going to go ahead and turn the unit back on, plug the unit back in, and then select any cycle, spin only, or if it's full of water, any cycle. And we're going to give it a few seconds here to make sure that the control board has enough time to send power down to the drain pump. And then we're going to register and see what our voltage is. Okay, so now with the unit on a cycle, we've let it go for a couple minutes here where it definitely has enough time to be sending the power down to the drain pump, and we're only getting about 20 volts coming down to the drain pump. So that's telling me we're not getting the right voltage coming down, so we either have a wiring issue or the control board, or an incoming power issue, or the control board is not sending the right power down. Okay, so the wiring in the back near the drain pump looked okay. So we're going to go ahead and gain access to our control board and the wiring up top here and take a look. To do that, we'll need to remove our top panel here. There are 2 Phillips screws in the back to remove that we've already done. And then we're going to slide this top panel back and lift it off. Okay, the next thing we'll need to do to remove our panel here to gain access to our control is remove the dispenser housing. And to do that, there's a little button here we're going to depress, and then you can pull it out the rest of the way. Set that to the side. And now there's going to be 4 Phillips screws that you're going to need to remove from the console here, or the panel. We've already done so there, so once those are removed, you can tip the whole assembly back, and it'll release the tabs. And you can see here now our main control board is on the back here. Okay, so all the wiring looks good coming up from the drain pump here. We have a black and a blue wire that come from the drain pump to the board, and by looking at this here, we have multiple black and blue wires, so I'm not sure exactly which ones are for the drain pump to the board. We can find that out in the tech sheet, so you could pin it out to see what the power is at the board being sent to the drain pump. But we know that the wiring's good, so I would assume that it's going to be the same voltage coming out of the board that we got down at the drain pump, which was around 20 volts, which definitely is not enough to power our drain pump. It's a 120 volt drain pump, 120 volt circuit. So what we did is one of these relays here in the middle does control the drain pump, and I've seen this issue before, so the first thing I did was start tapping on these relays or prying them with a screwdriver here, which you want to be careful doing if you have power onto the unit. And by doing that, the drain pump would kick on and kick off. So that right there verifies and tells us that the relay for the drain pump here is loose or damaged, so that we're going to need to replace our control board to fix our issue. Alright, for this repair, you will need to replace your control board. First thing we'll do is disconnect all of our wiring harnesses to the board. Good thing to do beforehand is take a picture so you can refer back to it to make sure you have all your wiring harnesses back in the same place. Typically, you're not able to, they're all different sizes, so you're not going to be able to mix them up at all. But occasionally, you do have some that can fit back in other places, so it's a good idea. They're just tabs to push in on and then release it by pulling straight out. Alright, and then there's a couple clips or strain reliefs that the harnesses go into, so we're going to release those from there. Okay, and now we can remove this whole panel now if we'd like, and there's going to be 1, 2, 3 Phillips screws to remove the board. And first we're going to need to remove this knob. Alright, we just move the whole control panel here to the top of the washer so that it wouldn't fall and get damaged. So now we'll remove the 3 Phillips screws. Alright, so our new control board here, as you can see, it comes with this board on this side, which is our relay that we need to replace. Back side of it is empty here. So this board we're actually going to be reusing and uninstalling and reinstalling onto the new one here. So what we'll need to do is release this board. Just a couple tabs to release it. Okay, so a couple tabs on the top side, we'll call this here, and then it'll swivel up and you can remove it all together. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and put this board onto the new assembly here. We're going to make sure we got it lined up right to come around and plug in. So it should be like this here. So we're going to go ahead and swing the bottom in underneath all these tabs. Like that, and then the top will just have to push in and it will lock into the tabs at the top here. Okay, and now make sure all these guys are still locked in place. We can turn this back over and reinstall these 2 wiring harnesses first. Alright, we're going to set the new board back in place here. Make sure everything's lined up, and then we can reinstall our 3 Phillips screws. So, should be 6 screws total that hold this board in place. I think we'll have 5 of the 6. Alright, so now we can bring this assembly back over to the front of the washer. And we got some tabs on the bottom, 3 on each side that are going to go into the 3 holes on the front of the cabinet here, the front panel. So we'll kind of hinge those in place there. We're going to need to kind of hold it while we reinstall all of our electrical connectors. Just pushing them in until they lock, snap in place. Make sure they're secure. And we're going to put our wiring back into the clips that were holding them in place. Clips on the new board are a little bit different than the other one. Now we can go ahead and swing this back up. Alright, and we can also reinstall our dispenser. Okay, Okay, now we can go ahead and plug the unit back in, run a cycle, test operation of the drain pump, make sure everything's working properly. All right, we got the unit started up in a cycle here. It's still filling up with water. It's like it might have just stopped. Now we're starting to agitate. Everything so far looks good. We'll go ahead and cancel this cycle out and check the operation of the drain pump. So I'm just gonna hit the power off button here. Okay, and that did not cause it to drain. We'll turn it back on, and then we're gonna go ahead and go to a spin only cycle and start that up. Okay, and our drain pump is on. It's running, and we are getting good water flow coming out of the drain hose. So we're just gonna check and make sure none of our hoses or anything are leaking within the drain circuit. Everything looks good. Everything's working properly. We have no water leaks. That will complete your repair. Thank you for watching another quality video brought to you by ApplianceVideo.com.